When you are dealing with a pathological narcissist, you're dealing with someone that has been practicing manipulation for years, long before they even met you. So if you're wondering why they are so good at gaslighting, guilt tripping, triangulation, weaponizing your empathy, etc., it is because this is practiced behavior. And whatever it is that you practice becomes perfect. For example, if you dedicate time at the gym to work on your biceps, then eventually your biceps are going to grow. If you dedicate time to working on your glutes and other muscles, then that particular muscle is going to grow because you are dedicating time, you are investing time into working that particular muscle group. So narcissists are really good liars because they have practiced to lie. Hence, today they are pathological liars. And a simple way to think of pathological lies is to think that this is lies on top of lies, beside of lies, beneath lies. They tell so many lies that it is actually hard for them to keep track. So if we were to use the character Pinocchio as an analogy for pathological narcissists, then understand that when it comes to narcissists, they have actually killed off Kimminy. In the story of Pinocchio, Kimminy represents Pinocchio's conscience. That little voice in your head that tells you not to do something. That limiter that we are all born with. So narcissists have stopped listening to Kimminy a very long time ago. So understand that if they were Pinocchio, then their nose is in a permanent long state, a permanent elongated state, because again, they've stopped listening to Kimminy. It is when Pinocchio starts telling the truth, then his nose returns to normal size. So when we're talking about pathological lies and guilt tripping and triangulation, etc., and again, all of these various manipulation tactics, understand that this is behavior that they have practiced. So they started lying in their different childhood homes, right? They started lying to their parents, lying to their siblings, lying to their friends, etc. So when they became adults, then they are very good liars because this is behavior that they have practiced. You've heard me say it before on the channel that the narcissist in your life probably has a PhD in gaslighting and triangulation, again, because they have a lot of experience in that particular domain. And this is why oftentimes it is a very mind-boggling experience dealing with these individuals, because that is not how you operate. So I want to remind you that you should not be projecting your consciousness onto a narcissist because they simply do not think like you. Instead, you should discern. When you are projecting onto a narcissist, then you are assuming that that individual thinks like you. They don't. They actually think in the opposite way of you. When you are discerning, when you're using your spiritual ability of discernment, then you're looking at things exactly as they are. You see Pinocchio's pointed nose, instead of thinking that he is still in touch with Kimminy, the conscience. When it comes to pathological narcissists, their conscience has long since been seared. Their conscience is compromised. They're not listening to that inner voice anymore. They're actually running away from it. You are dealing with people that are based in shame. Every day they wake up, they're in shame, and they are unable to move past their pride. And pride cometh before the fall, so they will fall right back down to shame. And this is their shame-pride cycle. So understand that when the narcissist wakes up, they're in shame. Pathologically low self-esteem. Self-esteem so low that they would probably have to look up to see it. Self-esteem that is little to non-existent. So you're dealing with people that do not love themselves. They love their false self, the image that they portray to others, but they really do not like their true selves. And this is why they abandon their true selves in childhood. Again, they're rooted in this shame, deep-seated inner core shame, and they are unable to move past their pride. So the best feeling emotions that pathological narcissists have access to are anger and pride. So understand that when narcissists are throwing their adult tantrums, that narcissistic rage, that is one of the most powerful emotions that they have access to. And if it's not that narcissistic rage, again, that deep-seated anger, then it's pride. And being filled with pride for them is that grandiosity and their false sense of superiority. So they believe that they are better than others without merit. And that is really as far as it goes. Because again, pride cometh before the fall, and they're going to fall right back down to shame. And they're not reflecting on the shame. Instead, they're trying to run from the shame. But they end up at that spiritual barrier right there at the third dimension, right there at pride. And they cannot let go of pride to get to courage. So they're stuck in a state of cowardice. Narcissists are adult bullies. Bullies are cowards. They have to pull people down to their level in order to feel better about themselves. Just like crabs in a barrel. They have to pull others down because they do not want you to ascend. So it is important to understand that when you're dealing with someone with this severe type of psycho-spiritual development, you should not expect accountability from them because you need courage to be accountable. You need courage enough to feel vulnerable, enough to deal with someone in that capacity. And again, narcissists do not have courage to give to you. Again, based in shame, can't move past your pride. They exist below the level of 200. All negative emotions. It is a common misconception that narcissists do not have emotions. They have a wide variety of negative emotions. Again, based in shame, cannot move past their pride. So it is important that you adjust your expectations. Narcissists do not have courage to give to you. They do not have neutrality to give to you. They're really black and white in their thinking. There is really no middle ground. They do not have love. They do not have empathy. They do not have compassion. They do not have forgiveness. They do not have gratefulness. They do not have any positive emotions to give to you because, again, they're stuck in negativity. And they have been stuck here since their childhood years because you really are dealing with people with Peter Pan syndrome. They did not become adults. They failed the individuation process. And simply put, individuation is the process of becoming an individual. It is becoming an adult. And at their core, pathological narcissists are somewhere at the developmental stage between 5 and 12 years old. Again, they did not become adults. They are Peter Pans. Toddlers stuck in adult bodies. And when I say that they are toddlers stuck in adult bodies, this does not mean that they are innocent. Again, we're talking about psycho-spiritual arrested development. And if, for example, you put a toddler at the steering wheel of a car, then they are going to wreck that vehicle. Similarly, there is a very good quote here by healer, author, and shaman, Dr. Malidoma Patrice Somé, where he states that if you keep a person in an adolescent state, then they will act militaristically. An adolescent state means an underdeveloped state, a Peter Pan-like state, an unripened state, an underdeveloped state. And militaristically means that they are going to be very volatile and often violent people. If you keep a person in an adolescent state, then they will act militaristically. this adult is going to throw tantrums like a 5-year-old because they really are a 5-year-old inside. They did not develop again. They are Peter Pans. So because of this, it is important that you adjust your expectations. Whatever it is that you experience in the narcissistic intimate relationship, parental relationship, sibling relationship, friendship, etc., is the best that pathological narcissist can give to you. Because again, at that level of emotional awareness, all they can give to you is negativity. Because if negativity is inside, then there will be negativity outside. People can only give you what they have. And what pathological narcissists have is a lot of misery. And misery loves company. And this is why they want you in the third dimension with them. In victim abuser consciousness with them. Because again, they did not develop past their lower ego. They did not become adults. So now you have to be Peter Pan's surrogate parent. You will see where in narcissistic relationships, especially intimate relationships, they will turn you into their surrogate parent, their new surrogate mom or their new surrogate dad. And instead of a intimate relationship, then now it's going to convert into this weird parental type relationship where you're gonna have to be their new mommy or daddy. Because again, these individuals did not grow up. They cannot deal with you at an equal level. By default, the playing field is unequal. And understand that when it comes to narcissists, they have to be in control. So if they are the abuser, then you will be the victim. They want to be master, so you must be slave. They have to be in control. That is how they feel powerful again in that arrested development state. Understand that you cannot grow with a pathological narcissist. They have arrested development. They actually are done with growing. They stopped growing in their childhood years again, somewhere between the ages of roughly 5 and 12 years old. If we were to give this an average, let's say it is about 7 or 8, the average age of a third grader. They stopped developing internally somewhere around that age. So you could be dealing with a narcissist that is in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, elderly narcissists in their 60s, 70s, 80s, etc. And at their core, they are going to behave somewhere between the ages of about 5 and 12 years old. A maladaptive 5 to 12 years old. Because again, you're dealing with someone with very severe psycho-spiritual arrested development. So when we're talking about psycho, this is related to the psyche. So we're talking about their mental abilities, emotional awareness, and their willpower. So at an emotional level, they're going to be based in shame, unable to move past their pride. At the mind level, then you're dealing with someone that is losing their minds. They do not have full control of their minds. And at the level of willpower, then they're going to be highly compulsive or impulsive. Because again, it's underdeveloped and underdeveloped will. They're not going to be very disciplined. Hence, they cannot control themselves. Again, very volatile people. They're going to act militaristically. And because it's a severe psychological disorder or psychological dysregulation, this is why clinicians call it a personality disorder. Psyche, personality, soul are similar equivalents, right? We're talking about, again, mental capacity, emotional awareness, and willpower. And when it comes to the spirit level, again, these people have abandoned their true selves in childhood for a false self, that which we call the ego or the mask. You cannot grow with an individual that does not know themselves. They abandoned themselves in childhood. So that is where we are stopping off here in today's video. But I do want to remind you that you must adjust your expectations. If you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. If you squeeze a grape, you'll get grape juice. And if you squeeze in narcissist, then you're going to get different forms of chaos, neglect, and abuse. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching these videos. Ensure that you are liking these videos. Ensure that you are subscribed for more empowering content. And if you have any questions or feedback, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next video.